wabarakatuh, and good evening to the community of Roshnee and our guests from out of town. Welcome to arguably the best town in South Africa, and I say this with no bias at all. Generations of families have lived and loved this town, where memories were made and memories continue to flourish. My name is Mahreen Chenya Saluji, and I will be your program director this evening. We have a very short program for you, one that will take you back to yesteryear and evoke all those emotions of living in the best of times, losing some of our loved ones, and of course, celebrating many that have pioneered this town. Before we get into it, I would like to call upon Maulana Shakir Bayat to open the proceedings for this evening.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Because of the nature of the subject matter, I will urge everybody to please maintain silence so that we can give the due respect to the matter that will be discussed and presented. So let's try again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. At this occasion, when we commemorating the historic background of our community of Roshnee, we look back and we reflect over the many beautiful years where people had settled in Roshnee from various different communities. Perhaps the first group of people who settled in Roshnee, subject to correction, may have been those who were residing in the old top location. Then eventually, as time progressed, those who were the residents of Everton may have then made Roshnee their home. And eventually, those who are now settled in Mayton, they moved towards Roshnee. And with the progress of time, people from different walks of life and different pursuits and different ambitions made Roshnee their home, and people relocated to Roshnee. In recent years, we're seeing the influx of people relocating and immigrating from India to Roshnee. In recent years, we've seen the influx of people even relocating from countries like Pakistan. In very recent days, we're seeing the presence in our community of people relocating from Ethiopia to Roshnee. All of these different people, well, all of their backgrounds and with all of their value to add is what makes our community special. If you look at my own family's background, we look back at the time, and now whilst efforts are being put in place for the renovation of the big masjid, it brings back a lot of important notes that come to the fore. The one is that my father, rahmatullahi alayhi, was living in Barberton. And when this community was now stabilizing and emerging, at that time, Uncle Wahid Tikli contacted him as a 21-year-old youngster, was seeking to serve the deen. And he was told that the first masjid is about to be established in Roshnee. Relocate to Roshnee and serve as the imam in this masjid. When my father relocated to Roshnee, at the time, the big masjid was not yet established, and salah and madrasa was all being done at the hall at Saleh's farm. That continued for 3 years whilst he was serving as the imam. And eventually, at the last 2 years of his appointment, the Masjidun Noor in Roshnee was established, where he served as the principal of the madrasa, where he served as the imam of the masjid, and this is part of the rich legacy of this community. This is our family legacy. But every family has a unique legacy and a unique contribution to this community. That's why when we look at our amazing community, there's one particular verse in the Quran which captures the dynamics of this community. And this is a universal lesson in this particular verse. Allah says, ضَرَبَ اللَّهُ مَثَلًا قَرْيَةً كَانَتْ آمِنَةً مُطْمَئِنَّةً. Allah draws a parable, draws an example of a village which was extremely safe It was a village which was a tranquil village. And that's the nature of the village Allah describes. But then Allah goes on to speak about that village. فَكَفَرَتْ بِأَنْعُمِ اللَّهِ. But the residents of that village, they weren't grateful for the bounties that Allah had blessed them with. فَأَذَاقَهُ اللَّهُ لِبَاسَ الْجُوعِ وَالْخَوْفِ بِمَا كَانُوا يَصْنَعُونَ. Then Allah changed their situation due to their actions. And Allah made them taste a feeling of hunger and fear. So the circumstances in that situation changed. My point that I'm driving is we are so grateful for our rich legacy. We need to be continuously grateful. And gratitude for the bounties means that we channel all of our resources, we channel all of our privileges in order to achieve the pleasure of the Almighty Jalla Jalaluhu. Privilege is very fragile. Stability is very fragile. Peace is very fragile. Tranquility is very fragile. It lasts for as long as the Almighty decrees it to last. And then it ceases to exist when the Almighty decrees for it to cease to exist. So this privilege, we need to take it and look at it holistically and put it into context that the privilege demands a responsibility. And this responsibility is on the shoulders of every member of this community. You see, when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam migrated to Medina, then amongst his first sayings in Medina gives us a blueprint of how we should live as a community. And the unique thing about this is this narration is not narrated by a person who was a Muslim at the time. It is narrated by a person who was a Jew at the time, because there was integration. And the benefit of his efforts was that everybody was benefiting universally. At this point, I challenge all religious organizations, allow your services to service your constituency, your religious group, but allow your services to extend beyond that and serve all of the community, as the Prophet Muhammad was sent as rahmatan lil alameen, as a mercy to the universes. So amongst his first words in Medina which he delivered was to the people of Medina, Ya ayyuhan nas, O people, afshu salam, make salam, greet people, make salam common amongst you, afshu salam, greet people, wa at'imu ta'am, and feed the people, wasilul arham, and maintain family ties, wasallu bil layl, wan nasu niyam, and devote yourself in the late hours of the night when everybody else is asleep, tadkhulul jannata bi salam, and you will, by result of these actions, you will enter into heaven with peace. So let me just repeat it. The blueprint of any well-functioning society. Ya ayyuhan nas, O people, afshu salam, make salam common amongst you, wa at'imu ta'am, and feed the people, wasilul arham, and maintain family ties, wasallu bil layli wan nasu niyam, and devote yourself in worship when everybody else is sleeping, tadkhulul jannata bi salam. The result will be you will enter into heaven with peace. In fact, one of the projects we can do as a community, we put up a large sign at the entrance of Roshnee as a reminder, welcome to Roshnee. In this town we greet one another, and we feed one another, and we maintain family ties, and we pray at night, even when others are asleep. So welcome into this town with peace. I use this opportunity to welcome all of you with peace, as the words of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam were. If you implement this blueprint, you will enter into heaven with peace. May the Almighty give us the understanding. Say Ameen or something. Jazakallah khair. I'm going to call upon Qari Naeem Shunara to recite a short qira'ah, and then we'll hand off back to the MC, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكن خيرا منهن ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير صدق الله العظيم.
There's a blue Golf with the number plate starting with JW that's blocking the entrance to the hall. If that is your car, could you please just move it out of the way? So as I said, we have a very short program this evening. I know you're all very anxious to get your hands on a copy of the book. For those that don't know me, I was born and bred in Roshnee. My maternal grandparents moved to Roshnee in about 1974, with my paternal papa moving a few years later. I schooled here, I got married in the same town, and now my son Isa will hopefully be richer for having the same experience as I did. I had an intermittent break from Roshnee when I lived and worked in Joburg, and as much as I loved the work that I was doing, the highlight of my week would be a Friday evening when I was returning home to my family and my community. I love the fact that I don't have to go to a mall to buy a loaf of bread, or that you can find the most sought-after items being sold in someone's home, or that you can walk in the streets at 10 p.m. at night and be relatively safe. Just be careful of the motorbikes and the fast cars. I sound very old. I love that I can go to the shops with my slippers on, and that if I happen to be running late from work and my son needs somebody to pick him up from school, there's always a willing hand. There is a kind of comfort and safety and homeliness that Roshnee brings to those who live in it, and even those who have lived in it and have left. Having said that, everybody knows Mr. Percy Maestri. He is a stalwart of this community, and all the success that Roshnee has been, he has been a major part of it. One of his great successes, and I'm sure he'll agree, is his daughter, Manjini Maestri, a lawyer by profession and a fish farmer on the other side. Very, very cool indeed. Manjini is an integral part, or was an integral part of the book from its inception. She is also an integral part of the community and keeping businesses afloat in tough times using her personal time and resources. I would like to call Manjini on stage to do the official welcome.
So let's be honest with each other. Roshnee is famous, and I don't have to tell you that. Viral videos on WhatsApp and Twitter and Facebook are newsworthy events on their own. We all know what goes on here. Now they say the nice thing about living in a town like this is that even when you don't know what you are doing, everyone else in Roshnee knows what you are doing. That's true, right? My humble greetings to you all. I hope you are all comfortable and are here to enjoy yourselves. I feel overjoyed to see each and every one of you here. You have made this evening extraordinary. What a wonderful event to rejoice the uniqueness of our community. Roshnee 55 marks a book that records the difficult but rich and successful history of the families and people of Roshnee. With or without you knowing, you all have enriched and contributed to this town. Life here is exciting, whether you like it or not. But really, being part of this community is about genuine human values, about care and a sense of kindred spirit towards each other. And let's face it, a lot of other towns need to learn from us. Today, as we sit here, there are so many unsung heroes. People who perform charity, people who fix our roads, who keep us safe at night, who create parks for our kids, who cared for us during COVID, who help with funerals, and just people willing to help for the greater good. And this book is an insight into this vibrant community. A lot of hard work has gone into this book, and we will get to hear a little bit more later this evening. So a special salutation to our elders who are here, and that is the 70-plus generation, to all our sponsors, and there you will see they are all mentioned in the back of the book, our title sponsors, Al Baraka Bank and Roche Gold. And we also have to welcome some guests who have traveled from far, like Uncle Rashid Dadu all the way from Dubai, and our guests from all over South Africa. Angsi and Champna, members of the Vereniging Business Corporation. I saw Cindy, I think Kevin and Mpo are also here. Kulu Mbongo and the Vaal heritage activists. And the hosts have asked me to acknowledge the members of the media, Ashraf Garda, Ponti Malatsane and team from Salam Media, and Rebecca from the Rising Sun. And to the guests of honor, which of course are the people and the friends of Roshnee, our religious leaders, our leaders, brothers and sisters, our young people and children, welcome and thank you. Tonight is not about looking at the future only. It is looking at the story of our past. And we shall celebrate here tonight our togetherness, our success, our shared values, and most importantly, our mutual respect for each other. We will commemorate each other and create a ton of memories to reminisce 55 years from now. Now, as you know, material success is one of the great markers of Roshnee, breathed through education, through sport, to business or otherwise. But success is not defined in the borders of our town. It's not just on Asir Crescent or Tagore Drive or any other street in Roshnee. Where it really lies is in the heart of its people. So undoubtedly, with the guidance of the Almighty, we shall bond here tonight and grow stronger and stronger as a community. And I hope that you will carry the legacy of this town as depicted in this beautiful book. Please, I ask you to keep those faces smiling, and again, a very, very warm welcome. I hope you will enjoy this very informal, fun, and exciting event. Thank you.
Thank you, Manjini. Little did the first settlers of Roshnee realize that they were creating a community bonded together by unity, kinship, a sense of togetherness and belonging, a place where everybody knows everybody. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. This book illustrates this, how we are interconnected and how this town was built on those very values. The Roshnee 55 book has been almost 20 years in the making. The author of the book, Mr. Yunus Chamda, has always endeavored to and worked towards making Roshnee the center of this district as a teacher and as mayor. He has been carefully collating and capturing history to bring to life the ethos in the form of a captivating book. When I used to hear stories from my parents about Vereeniging Town and how life was so wholesome, I always wished that I was born during that era. And what I love about Roshnee 55, it takes you directly back to that time and gives you an experience and a feeling of a better world. As you can see, Uncle Yunus is very elated this evening, and it's not just because the book launch is finally here, but it is because Manchester United is finally in a final, and they've basically secured a Champions League spot, and tomorrow we could very well be third on the log. So come on, you Red, come on stage. I would like to introduce you to the author of Roshnee 55, Mr. Yunus Chamda.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Greetings. May peace and blessings be upon each and every one of you. I'm overwhelmed by the attendance. I mean, firstly, I didn't realize there were so many people in Roshnee. Maybe I got my statistics wrong in the book. I'll have to go and recheck that. But thank you very much. It's a wonderful response from the community. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I was motivated to work on this book. But let me talk about the book. But hang on a second. Maybe I should show you the book first. Marin, you want to just hand me that book? I know lots of people are anxiously waiting. Well, this is your book. I mean, it's your story. So, yeah, it weighs just under 4 kilograms, and it's a huge publication. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the book and just a couple of things that I think you'll find quite interesting about the book. I mean, one of the questions that people keep asking me is, how long did it take? And the reason they ask me is for years and years I've been asking them for photographs and for information. And I think at some point, some of them didn't believe this was going to actually get done. I know Uncle Percy at some point thought, this chap is just fooling around. This book is never going to come. The truth of the matter is that it has taken a long time. I was working on this book in 2007. In fact, Mr. Nana, you'll remember when Eastern Mosaic came to Roshnee. At that point, they contacted me because I was working on this book. Now, I can't claim to have been working on this thing for 16 years. That's a misrepresentation. I mean, the first 9 years, I was just cruising along, doing a little bit now and then, and trying to build up to the book. But the last 7 years have been quite intense, and finally, alhamdulillah, with the blessings of the Almighty, the book is finally here. Now, I just want to offer you a bit of advice about enjoying the book. I mean, when you get this book, I'm sure the first thing you'll want to do is do a quick scan. I can assure you, you're not going to be able to do that in about even an hour is not enough. I mean, it's quite a comprehensive book, and you can flip through it and enjoy it at a casual level. But I just want you to, after you've familiarized yourself with the book, I want you to take a little bit of time to start looking at some of the photographs and start looking at the layers of meaning behind the photographs. And I want you to start connecting the dots between different chapters in the book. So let me give you an example, or let me give you a few examples. There is a photograph under the business chapter of Iqbal Kaji in his radio repair shop. Now that photograph is here in the exhibition, right? Now, you know, we used to call him Kimo, right? So to many, that's just a picture of Kimo in fixing up his radios. But I want you to think very carefully, because you see, Iqbal Kaji in that radio repair shop trained all the nephews in the family to become radio technicians and to learn to fit radios. And from that training, you find that many, many highly successful businesses were established. Uncle Musa, you have Aziz who learned under Kimo. We have Riaz Chunara. We have the owner of this hall, Rashad. If you ask Rashad, where did he get his start in life? It was with Iqbal Kaji. So when you look at that photograph, I mean, all you might see is this humble man, radio technician fixing radios. But look behind that and make the connections, and then the book will suddenly have meaning. There's another photograph, again in the business section, taken in the 50s, when Rally Cycles invited Indian businessmen who were trading with bicycles to the factory in Vereeniging. Now, when you look at the photograph, there's a large group of Indian businessmen standing in front of the Rally Cycle factory. And Cindy is here. I think she'll remember that building very well. Now, the question that you have to ask yourself when you look at that photograph is, why would Rally Cycles only invite their Indian customers? I mean, I'm sure they had other customers of other races as well. And immediately you begin to appreciate that in the 50s, that was the nature of business. It was highly segregated, and that was the apartheid years. And that's the story that you will see behind that photograph. One of the most amazing photographs in the book that we unearthed, and Yusuf Mullah, it came out from your family collection. You didn't even know you had it. And you still don't know you have it, because when you entered, you still had no clue about this photograph. It is a Vereeniging football team photograph that we managed with expert analysis. They interpreted it, and we've worked out that it was taken in 1915. Now, a football team in 1915, I mean, that's quite a remarkable photograph. And the clue that really gave away the age of that photograph was in the photograph, you see a very young teenage boy by the name of Suleiman Dadabai. I mean, as a young teenager in the book. And that's another remarkable photograph, and I hope you appreciate and enjoy that one. I love the photograph of the Saleh family. There's a photograph taken in 1945. There's Hagbay Saleh sitting. He's 35 years old. He's got his 10 children with him. And his wife, Hawa, is standing there and she's smiling. I thought you'd get that. It's just a wonderful family portrait. I mean, those days are gone where we go to the studio and take a family portrait. But some of those that save those photographs, many of them appear in the book, and I hope you'll appreciate them. There are more than 3,500 photographs in the book, and I could talk on and on about them. But some of them just have different meaning for me as I work through them. The photograph of Dr. Akil and Dr. Arif in the surgery is a photograph that has a great deal of meaning. I don't think we told Dr. Akil in his lifetime enough about how we appreciate what he did for the community. But Dr. Arif is still here. I don't know where he would be sitting, you know. But let's take the opportunity to acknowledge the work that Dr. Arif did. In fact, if you look further in the book, under the community outreach chapter, Mr. Nana will remember you set up the Ironside Imarat. And in there you'll see Dr. Arif giving service in Ironside. Yeah. The soil turning ceremony of the mosque. I mean, just the photographs of all of you that attended that soil turning ceremony. It was sheer emotion that the masjid was going to come up. That has a lot of meaning. From a photographic point of view, the Kalain brothers in their printing works, you know, is just such a striking photograph. I could go on and on, but I think the message I'm trying to say is enjoy the book at first glance, but then take time and start connecting the dots and look at the lessons behind them. One of the things that really struck me was the wealth of information that the elders still possess in them. And I think the younger generation, I really want to ask you to take time. Don't be impatient, take time. And sit with the elders and talk to them and ask them to relate the story of their lives. Because they have wonderful memories, by the way. I truly enjoyed my time sitting with, I went to Babu Saleh all the way to Trichat. Really enjoyed that discussion with him. Uncle Percy, we had so many hours and hours sitting with you and getting to appreciate the stories from the past. Auntie Rashida Chunara, I spent an entire Saturday morning with her and truly appreciated the stories that she had to tell. And don't think that the memory of the elders is faulty. So let me give you one example. I had this Vereniging School photograph, and I only recognized one very distinctive face in the photograph, and that was Uncle Musa Belisha sitting over here. So I took the photograph to Uncle Musa, and I said to Uncle Musa, tell me, is that you? And he says, yes, that's me. I said, when was this photograph taken? He says, that's 1949. I said, 1949? I'm sure you don't remember all your classmates. He says, of course I do. Let's start. And he went through the entire class, and with the exception of maybe, I think, 3 names, Uncle Musa, it was about 3 that we couldn't identify. He remembered all of them. What an amazing memory. But it must be hereditary, because when I went to sit with Hafizah Belisha, I mean, he remembers absolutely all the details of his life. But that was really wonderful. So we must take time to sit with the elders. Some of the most difficult choices that I had to make while putting this book together, and this is the one that at some point I actually felt like giving up on this book, because this was just the most difficult thing to do. I had taken a deliberate decision that I was not going to make a book that was only historical in nature, but I would include the young generation so that they could also feel a connection with the book. So to achieve that, I took lots of photographs of our schools, and especially our nursery schools, you know, because 50 years from now, they'll appreciate some of those photographs. But the hardest thing was when I was sitting at my computer with a folder of 2,000 images of the most beautiful children and 30 spaces to fill. I mean, that was just an impossible choice. And that was very, very hard to do. But the book was finally put together. This book is not an academic study. You know, when you do a piece of academic study, then you do levels of verification. You know, when Ismail Wadi does a book, he wants 10 pieces of evidence before you can say something happened. So if you told me you were born in top location in 1959, I didn't ask you for your birth certificate, and I didn't ask the neighbor to confirm that indeed you were born in top location. You know, that's an academic study. This book is anecdotal. You know, people have told us stories, and sometimes the memory is faulty. So if we got some of those facts wrong, please understand that that is in fact the nature of this book. It is not an academic study. When I reached the end of the book, Mamshad is here, he was our graphic designer. I mean, literally when we were right at the end, and I mean, we're going to talk a lot about Mamshad, there was suddenly space at the beginning. You know, there was a blank page. And, you know, I had to decide what to do with this blank page. And then somebody said, well, you know, it's not uncommon for an author to put a dedication, you know, and I thought, well, that's a good idea. Let me put a dedication there. And I just want to read to you the one sentence that appears at the beginning of the book. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about how that sentence came about. So this is the dedication in the book. It says, this book is dedicated to the men and women of Roshnee who placed the interest of others above the self and thereby built a community. Now you might think that's brilliant, but it's not. I was paying attention. I was paying attention because in 2005, Mr. Nana spoke at the Roshnee Islamic School Awards. And his topic that day was that true leadership is when you put the interest of somebody else above yourself. And if you were to ask me what is the theme of this book, what is the story of this book, that is the story, where people put the interest of somebody else above themselves. And you will see from start to end the story of sacrifice, of people doing for others when they could have done instead for themselves. And so I think that dedication is very appropriate, and I think that that is the theme. Now, I know there's a vote of thanks coming, but you know, I'm tempted to take a few things away from Ahmed Lambat, who's going to do the vote of thanks, because there's a few things that I have to say. And I really have to thank all my family members, you know, all of them. I won't mention all of them by name, but they were really instrumental in getting this done. But I also just want to mention a few people. Soon after I'm done here, we're going to hand out a photography award called the Isub Gattu Award. And I'm really pleased, Asma and Zahira, you are here. I'm really pleased that you are here, that we can honor Isub, because this book was very much Isub's vision. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2017, and so he didn't get to see this event. But really, if he was here, you know, he would have really been a huge contributor to this event. And so I must mention Isub. And then, of course, he's going to come up on stage later. Harun, thank you so much for all the support. Harun has been with this project from the very inception, from the time we conceptualized it, sometime in the 1990s. And then we went through phases when we really didn't do much with it. But Harun has been with us every step of the way. And Harun, thank you for your enormous support and your dedication to this project. And I mean, you have a wonderful grasp of our community history. And so I couldn't have called on somebody better to walk with me through this journey right up to the end. Even now, you're still here, seeing this through to the end. But we will have, you will come up and you will say something. And I know you want to talk about the community interests and the community issues. So you will take up that theme. And then, of course, the inspiration for me has been Mr. Nana. A true leader in this community. His wisdom and guidance and leadership has really been a driving force in this community. And if you analyze many of the good things that have happened, it was his vision, and I really want to acknowledge him today and say thank you, Mr. Nana, for everything that you have done and all the guidance that you have provided. Now, I don't know if Ziad Dadabai is here. He may not be here, but when I went to sit with Ziad and I took him through the draft of the book, as we were parting, there was a parting comment. We just were making casual conversation as I parted with him. And I said this to him. I said, Ziad, in life, sometimes you must try the impossible. Because you see, if it succeeds, then you can't take credit for it yourself. You have to ask, how did it happen? And so this project looked like the impossible. And the only reason why it has come about, and today we actually have the book, is because it is the will of the Almighty. It is He alone that makes these things happen, and so we acknowledge that. I have been indeed blessed to have grown up and lived in Roshnee. I in fact feel as if you are on the stage and I am the audience, because I talk to you as the community of Roshnee. I grew up here. This town gave me my education. It gave me my friends, my social life. I've been involved in the sporting life of this community, the civic life of this community, the politics of this community, the arts and culture of this community. And Roshnee has given me everything. So what more could I have asked for than to take, albeit so much of time, to put together this book, which is a tribute to you. I hope you enjoy the book. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Uncle Yunus. Uncle Yunus is a master of many things, as you can see. So I hope after this exercise, Uncle Yunus, hashtags and social media will be one of those. You have Miriam to blame for that revelation. The book will be available for sale immediately after the official launch. Please support the tireless work of the author and everyone involved and help celebrate with us 55 years of Roshnee. For the next item on the program, I would like to call upon Ms. Sunita Bauer. The award. Sunita is holding the coveted Isop Gatu Photography Award. For those that do not know Isop Gatu, he was one of the three who had an idea of a history of this town. Mr. Gatu was a mentor to the author, Mr. Yunus Chamda, and Mr. Chamda fondly remembers being called to Uncle Isup's dark room on Firdaus Street, and that is where he learned all the tricks of the trade. As Uncle Yunus alluded to, Mr. Gatu sadly passed away in 2017 and would be so proud to see his vision come to fruition this evening. The Photography Club in Roshnee brought a number of creative minds together to showcase their works of art. It was started for like-minded individuals to share their work, learn, and encourage the youth to take up this as a hobby. You will find a picture of that first club meeting in the book itself. This award is awarded to a club member who has shown enthusiasm, consistency, and a passion for photography. To hand over the award, I would like to call upon Mr. Gatu's wife, Asma, and his daughter, Zahira, to hand over the award with Ms. Bauer. So the cameras can catch you. So you can come inside so the cameras can get you. And the winner of this award is, drum roll, Maylene Rolfes Dadu. When the author decided to include a short narrative of each chapter, instead of writing these himself, he invited Mr. Harun Porchi to contribute to these narratives. Mr. Porchi was also one of the three, with Mr. Gatu, who had the vision of a community history. I would like to call upon Mr. Porchi to say a few words.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening, namaste. You know, we sit here and we've got these blessings of rain that is showering upon us. When we were planning, we said 70% chance of rain, it may be a washout. But look at how nicely it is. And I must thank you, the community, of coming here and helping us pay tribute to our founders, the old people who set the foundation for what we have today is a highly successful community and a highly enterprising and encouraging group of leaders. So when I got involved with this project, it's always difficult to understand the scope, the nature, and the size of what we were doing. And I think that is one of the reasons why Yunus kept on saying that sometimes it falls off, your fire sort of gets extinguished. But then, you know, we had the people like Uncle Percy, Hafizi Belishaye, Abdul Samad Nana, and you just go and talk to these people and the fire gets ignited. And with the result, what you're seeing there is really a work of art to me. So Margaret Mead said, a small group of thoughtful people could change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. So when you look at this group of people that put together this work, we look one level lower, a second level lower, a third level lower. And me and my generation, fortunately, life would have us in the middle tier. You know, those that came before us, that were giants, and those that are going to come after us, which Yunus have quite well captured within the book. So again, if we put it into time frames and perspectives, just think of a community not wealthy, living in a not organized society, suffering under apartheid, not really having economic freedom to grow and to create opportunity. You know, you couldn't get bank loans, you couldn't get credit. It's only at the hands of the wholesalers that you could develop a little subsistence business. And then you can get to my generation, which is really in the 70s. We were the first at Roshnee Secondary School. We were the first, and I see one of our ex-teachers who went to study in the UK, Dr. Rashid Chamda, who came from Swaziland, and he taught us on how to do chemistry and science. And I'm always thankful for Uncle Rashid for having been our mentor. And I think that is it. It was just the opening up of the community and the society. So what happened was that it gave us the opportunity to build a bridge between the past and what is coming into the future. and the rest is history. My generation went to university. That was followed by all generations thereafter getting tertiary education. If you look in the book, you will see the number of professionals that this community have produced. Aeronautical engineers, lawyers, accountants, finance guys, Islamic finance specialists. If you look at the guys that have contributed to the educational sector, I met Bobby Moodley here this evening. Bobby is one of those working at Gauteng Department of Education. You've got Mr. Cheney. He's also high up in the educational department. Mohammed Kaka, Ayub Kaka's son, he's CEO of Al Baraka Bank. There's a Sarang chap, his name escapes me. He's head of Islamic finance at Standard Bank. FNB, Shakir Akalu, who comes out of our environment, is heading the international division there. So when you look at that, you pay tribute to the teachers like Yunus Chamda. You pay tribute to Mr. Nana. He was my accounting teacher. Roshnee was the first school where he was appointed. He used to give us challenges to sort accounting problems out. And I always thank him for what he did for us. In terms of sports, and just think in today's language, where do you see a teacher giving his matriculant students his motor car for them to go study history, which was a movie in those days that was a bestseller. You know, it was on the discovery of gold, but Mr. Nana obliged. He took us to sports. He trained us in cricket and soccer. And I mean, what do? The late Saleh Bayat, Mari Moodley, when you look at Raymond Naidu, when you look at Don Naidu, who's still in Indonesia, and Archie Muhammad, you know, when you see the benefits of that, it groomed a new generation of teachers. Late Ali Suji, I know Auntie Hava is here tonight, but he made an impact on us. Hafiz Abdasu, Ibrahim Dasu is another one. So, and you will see all of them in the book and the contributions that how they've come. Now I must tell you of Uncle Percy, what has happened in the last year and a half. Wherever you meet Uncle Percy, he'll be like a magician and take out a little trick about what the community's history was. And when I sit with him, he says, you know, I don't need to talk to you. I used to be your father's friend. And I did secretarial work under your father. And really, when you look at that, this week he told me, I've got historical records that goes back, I think, to the 1940s or the 50s, and he's got them filed, stacked properly. And it is that we look at. What is the value within our community of such a book? And I come now to the next generation before I'm asked to leave. Otherwise, I'll keep you too long. So when you look at that foundation and the history that has come, the next generation, and if you look at the kids that came through, I met Mama Chaid Abdul, who's here. He's part of the diplomatic corps in Maputo. I mean, somebody that has come out of our community. Ibrahim Saleh, head of foreign affairs, ambassador to Jordan. When you look at what our community did, and it's covered in the book, for Zwellen Zimbabwe at the height of the apartheid thing. They found accommodation for him, and he was shielded and hid in this little town of Roshnee. He was given a flat, totally incongruous, and he managed to stay here until the danger was open. So if you look at that, obviously from an educational perspective also, people like Mr. Kesam, Madam Chetty, Mr. E.H. Tunara. Mr. E.H. Tunara was my teacher in Standard 1. Now that we're talking about maybe 1961, 62. And I mean, he went up right up to the end of primary school. But another 2 decades later, he was still educating children and bringing them up. So we have a very rich sort of foundation for the next 50 years. And if you look in the book, Yunus has showcased these youngsters that are potentially there to carry. When you look at the leadership of some of our organizations, R&W, we've got a very young team in place. You know, you look at Spike, you look at Hussein Salucci. If you take our feeding scheme, which feeds something like, I think it's about 3 million a month, and it's all through donations that are coming from you, the community. When you look at the leadership within our educational sector, you know, our teachers go out and mark matric papers. So I just think that we have a lot to thank the Almighty for, but by the same token, we have created a foundation going into the future. So just in closing, about maybe 15 years ago, the community brought an international trainer by the name of Yawar Beg to Roshnee. He spent a week with us. There was a day with the municipality, which was Sidibing district, and he did training with them. There was a day with the community, with the teachers, with our kids. And today, those youngsters are the leaders that have filtered through and are making an impact on our community. So I just think we need to look that we have a fantastic platform. Let us build on that. And hopefully tomorrow we'll delve into the past. We are having panel sessions on town, on location, on Everton, on the early days of Roshnee. And we want the young people to come in and learn about what their rich heritage in the past is. So I once again thank Yunus for the opportunity of allowing me to join this team of workers in bringing to you this historical account. Thanks, Marie.
The first book, book number 1 as it's called, is hot off the press, like we call it in the media circles. I know it's quite loud with the rain, so I hope you can hear me at the back. If you can't, please let us know. It's probably the most sought after item here today. So who would like to get their hands on it? Nobody? Good to see. Let me rather get the professionals to do the business. We are now going to auction off book number 1. This project in its entirety has been a non-profit project. The money that is raised here this evening from the book sales and from all the events over this weekend will go to the many charity causes Roshnee engages in. With that said, let's take the checkbooks out, or as my Isa would say, it's time to tap your card. Our auctioneer this evening is a schoolmate of mine and now part of the Foreign Diplomatic Corps in South Africa. He lives in Mozambique, but he's still very much involved in the community. Mr. Mohammed Shahid Abdul, he's the South African ambassador to Mozambique. The stage is now all yours.
Okay, assalamu alaikum, good evening. Roshnee, it's been a while, huh? Just to add as well, actually, I'm number 2 in charge in Maputo, so not ambassador, but I would take the promotion any day. So, assalamu alaikum and good evening to everyone. Thank you to the program director, of course, Mahreen. So we're here to auction the book today. I know some people here might not recognize me, and that's because I've lost 100 kilograms. So, yeah, I met a lot of people when I met them outside. You know, their brains short-circuited, you know, when you see people after a while. So yeah, we're here to auction the first book of today. 15 years ago, I left this town with a fool's dream. And this town and its people have been with me throughout their journey. So every part of the world that I've been, every engagement that I've had, the town has been with me. My friends from school, the various mentors I had, whether it was in business or public speaking, politics or sports or school or academia or Islamia, they were all with me during this journey. So it's a great pleasure and an honor for me to be invited here today. And again, I would like to thank once again Uncle Yunus Chamla for all his work in putting this book together. And just a quick FYI, people might not know this. For the small town that Roshnee is, we've produced 3 diplomats. And I don't think many other towns anywhere in the country can actually claim that a town of the size of Roshnee has actually produced 3 diplomats, which includes Ambassador Saleh, who's in Jordan, Inayat Ismail, who was our deputy head of mission in New York, and myself, of course, from the current generation. So I think we're going to get the book auction started. So just to explain the rules, this book is the first book that has been published. So everyone should be fighting to get their hands on this book. We're going to be starting the bidding at around 4,000 Rand. We'll start there. All the money is going to charity, is going back to this community that we all are. And we know one of Roshnee's greatest legacies is that we've always contributed to any cause out there. So whether it was a cause in our town, whether it was a cause abroad, we've always contributed handsomely in terms of assistance. So this is where we're going to be starting the bidding at 4,000 Rand, and we're going to be working our way up. So please, let us be very, very generous in our bids. And if I don't start getting bids, I'm going to start calling people by name. And I remember people by name as well. They might not remember me. So we're going to open the bidding. So it's book number 1 of the Roshnee 55. Can we open the bidding for 4,000? 5, we got 5, 6, 6,000, 7. Can I get 7 from somewhere? 7, there we go, 7, 8, 10,000 at the back, 10, 11, who's going 11? 11,000, we have 11,000, 12 at the back, 12, okay, 15,000, Uncle Arun brought the checkbook today, huh? 15, 20,000. 20,000. 22,000 here. 25,000. 25. 20. The body in the back. 30. 30,000 in the back. 32,000. Okay, 32. 50. 35, oh, okay. 35. I'm trying my luck here. 38,000 here. 38,000. Someone give us a 40, come on. 40,000, come on. Someone at the back. We got 40,000. 40,000 Rand. 40,000. 42,000. 45. 45. 47,000. Uncle Arun, just write out the check for 1 bar and we can just give the book over. 47, 50, 50,000 we have. 50, 55, 55 at the back. 56 in the front. 56,000. No, is that the real bid there? Does the young man have 56,000? Just checking, okay. 56, we had 56 come. 5660, we got 60,000. Big 60. Uncle Arun? 62. 62? Okay, just check. Okay, so we got 60,000, 65,000 in the back. 65,000 right at the back for the first copy of the book. 65,000. Are we going to get anything more? 65,000. Is someone bidding? Or they're checking? They're calling the accountants to check. 70? 70, please stand up. Who said 70? Okay. 70. We got 70,000. Okay. 70. 75 at the back. 75,000. 75,000. Do we have 75,000? 76,000. Uncle Harun, 76,000. 76,000. What is that? 80,000 in the back. 80,000, okay. Any other bids? 80,000. Anyone for 81? 90,000. 90,000. 90,000 rand. 100,000. 100,000 rand. Okay, 100,000. Are we going above? 105. Okay, 101. Any other bids? 100,000 rand for the first copy of the book. I see some discussions going on, so we'll give them a few seconds. Just a few, because we have a long night ahead of us. Yeah. I think we settled there. Anything? 101? 101,000? 102,000? 105,000? 105, okay. Once. Twice. Okay, okay. How much? 115. 115. 110. Can we confirm 110? 110,000. Current bid 110,000. Anything more? Come on, people, it's for charity. As we pull out the tax returns, I can arrange that. One phone call, we can pull them all out. 105. Anything more? 110, sorry, 110, 110,000. Last round around the room. Look, if the guys at the back can help as well, just look around. 110,000. 110,000, okay, going once, going twice, going thrice, sold, 110,000. Big round of applause though. Can the bidder please come to the stage? The bidder, can you please come to the stage? Can the bidder please come to the stage? Uncle Harun as well. Yeah. The bidders, can the bidder come to the stage? Round of applause for the bidders, please. 110,000 Rand. Can the bidder please come up? We're running out of time. Can the bidder please? Oh, here we go. The bidders. Oh, it's a group of bidders. Oh.
The Chunara family.
Okay, so the bidders, it's a group, it's the Chunara family that has bid 110,000 Rand for the book. Can we please get a round of applause for the handover? So we have just been informed that there's 4 families as part of the bid. It's the Chunara family, the Badat family, the Arbi family, and the Dadu family. Round of applause, please. So how is payment going to be made? Cash, card, check?
Also, all those who have bid, please note that any donations towards the project, you're welcome to meet the sales team after the function, and anything you have bid, you're still welcome to give it towards the project. Thank you.
Okay, Jazakallah everyone. Round of applause for the bidders as well. 110,000 Rand. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Muhammad Shahid. Some LM prawns on your next visit, please. We're almost at the end of the program. I know you're all very anxious to get out and see all the stalls and get your copy of the book. If you'll just bear with me for 5 minutes, we've just got some housekeeping. I would like to call upon Mr. Ahmed Lambert to deliver the final vote of thanks, and then we'll say our goodbyes.
What a night, what an atmosphere, so much enthusiasm, and I've heard the applause right from the beginning, and I hope that we're going to finish with a very strong applause at the end. Assalamu alaikum, namaste, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I have the pleasure of giving the vote of thanks, and just by looking around, we have so much to be thankful for. As a town, a community, a history rich in experiences and fond memories. So let me begin by expressing my gratitude on behalf of the Roshnee community to the author of the book, the man of the moment, Yunus Chamda. Well, that's just a warm-up. The main applause is coming. Yunus, without your efforts, many of these treasured memories that form an integral part of Roshnee may have been lost, still tucked away in dusty boxes, plastic bags, and photo albums. Without your dedication over the last 7 years, each memory may not have been weaved together with the next to form this unique story. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and Roshnee 55 is the proof. A priceless collection of memories and stories spanning more than half a century. Thank you. We thank you. We thank you, Eunice. We thank Almighty God for everything that we have been blessed with as a community. And we are always grateful to Him for all the favors that He has bestowed upon us. It is not happiness that brings gratitude. It is gratitude that brings us happiness. It is not happiness that brings us gratitude. It is gratitude that will bring us happiness. On behalf of the organizing team, and especially Eunice, we thank each and every one of you present here tonight for accepting the invitation and making this function a success. Tonight's function is also in honor of the Roshnee community. It provides an opportunity to reminisce, to call back the past, and allows us to tell the stories of the good old days. The younger generation have the opportunity to see firsthand how we lived, thrived, and grew as a community over the last 5 decades. And we did it without technology, without computers, without Wi-Fi, and without cell phones. Those of us born in the years 1940 to 1980 were truly blessed. We had the blessing of time. We had time to play before school. We played after school, and we stayed out right up until sunset. There are always enough hours in our days. We hardly ever watched television, nothing on SABC TV. We went to school with a top in one pocket, marbles in the other, cricket bat in the one hand, and your school bag in the other. We manufactured our own go-karts. We made our own toys, and we played with them. We ate home-cooked meals and never needed vitamins or supplements. We walked or we cycled to our friends' homes. We played soccer and cricket. No one needed the gym. We had real friends, not virtual friends. We didn't need a trolley bag. We carried fewer books to school. But we had a thirst for knowledge. And we had teachers who taught book lessons as well as life lessons. The people of that era are a limited edition, just as the Roshnee 55 book is a limited edition. It is a pictorial history that goes back 55 years to the origins of Roshnee. It links the past to the present. Every picture will have a story behind it. The black and white photos are filled with colorful memories. And with close on to 365 pages, you can enjoy this beautiful book day by day, page by page. This book is priceless. And yes, we do take MasterCard. Do not go home without it. Just a little anecdote. There was a lady that went for an interview, and just before the interview, she poured a glass of water, and it slowly overspilled. So the interviewee said to her, "Are you nervous?" And the young lady very calmly said, "No, I always give more than 100%. Now, Roshnee is renowned for its generosity, and once again, the entire community of Roshnee has made this possible through their generous contributions, both in cash and in kind. You have given of your time and shared your precious memories. You have, as usual, given more than 100%, and every contribution is truly, truly appreciated. We would like to thank Rashad and Zinat for availing this beautiful venue out of the goodness of their hearts. To our very own flower therapist, Nasima Mangera, for bringing her style and sophistication to the decor. And to Mohammed Nati from Valpek for keeping us hydrated. This event is open to the community and is free of charge. For making this possible, we extend our heartful thanks to each and every sponsor of the project. We also extend our gratitude to Niren of Shireno Printers. Niren, thanks for the stunning finished product. Niren went out of his way to deliver the books on time, and thanks also Richard and Colin. Yunus was very worried about the books getting here on time. To Memshad of Digital Dapple for the professional layout of the book and the social media designs. Mems Karim of Neshwa Val for your enormous contribution, printing, exhibition, photography, videography, and all the photos that were displayed in the foyer. Mems, if you were a chef, I would have given you a Michelin star. But Yunus says you are an absolute star. Ibrahim Chunara and Shaidi Kesam of Gunning to Old Trafford on Instagram. Sophia Suleiman of Yo Photography, spelled Y-A-W, a professional photographer who volunteered her services. Bass Mechanics for the excellent sound system and making us heard. Also, thank you to the entire Roche Gold team for the back office support, hard work, and the logistics. And a special thanks to Shakira Rahiman for liaising with the media houses, the radio stations, and who afforded interviews to Harun Pochi and Yunus Chamda. Thank you, Radio Islam, Salam Media, Rising Sun, INX Prime, CII, and Newsroom Africa for the coverage of this event. We appreciate the help and support from the Val Muslim Women's Forum for managing the stalls, and we thank all the stall holders for adding to the excitement of this function. RNW for their concern of our safety and security. We also acknowledge all the school teachers and pupils for submitting their art and literature and sharing their thoughts on what Roshnee means to them. Some of the material received from the young minds was truly thought-provoking and encouraging. It is on display. To the book sales team, Raisa Pochi, Miriam Chamda, and Salma Dorat of Audit Connection for keeping tabs on the finances. And a special appreciation from Yunus goes out to the Dokrat family and Mr. Enver Mullah for the reassurance that resources will be available to complete this project. Also acknowledging Ismail Wadi, a near and dear friend who kept on encouraging him. Thank you to the elders in the community, amongst others, Percy Maestri, Hamid Saleh, Babu Saleh, the Belisha brothers, Rashida Chunara, for your sound advice and guidance. And now to the most important people. Thank you, Mrs. Amina Chamda and the Chamda family, for allowing Yunus to sacrifice his time and complete this mammoth task. Thank you for supporting him. A project that has been 7 years in the making, a culmination of your hard work, dedication, and perseverance has finally paid off. Yunus, we truly appreciate what you have put together for the community of Roshnee. The history will be preserved, and Roshnee 55, your legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time. Put your hands together for the man himself, the author of Roshnee 55, Yunus Chamda. Let's clap and give him a real round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I have one other function that was a surprise to me as well, and that will require that I call up on stage Yunus Chamda and his lovely wife, Amina Chamda. Can you please join me on the stage? Amina, where are you? Amina, please. 1 minute, Amina. Oh, Miriam, you coming? Bring her, Yunus. Behind every successful man is a woman. Yunus, this is just unplanned, but it's a token of appreciation from and on behalf of the community of Roshnee. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremonies.
I know we're all a little bit restless, and I can see us all rustling a bit, but we are at the end. I just have a little bit of housekeeping. If you look on the left-hand side at that door over there, to buy your copies, you can go over there, and behind this black sheet is the area where you will purchase your books. If the books happen to get sold out this evening, we will be doing a pre-order for new books, so everyone will be able to get a book. If not this evening, it will be in the next run. There's a weekend full of activities. There are a number of vendors here this evening and tomorrow as well. There's a jam-packed program of panel discussions on top locations, Steelworks, Everton, and the Vereniging Old Boys, and many, many opportunities to catch up with old friends. The motor exhibit is one of the exciting events tomorrow. It's showcasing the new and the old, which is obviously the theme for this weekend. We have a huge showcase of old cars and some new. We always see all the beautiful Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Porsches on the streets of Roshnee. So we are urging all the young drivers to please bring your cars to be part of the showcase. You can contact Mohammed Bera to put your name on the list. The exhibition that you see outside, 100 from 55, which is 100 photos from the book, will be here this evening and tomorrow as well. Please also support the NGO corner on the left of the MC podium. It's all the NGOs from Roshnee that is collecting money for the various causes in the town. So please open your hearts and open your checkbooks and please support all those NGOs. There is also special R55 merchandise, caps, cups, etc., etc. If you buy that, all the proceeds go to the community projects as well. The Roshnee 55 book is not just a pictorial history. Lessons from the old and the new have been passed down to generation and generation. Lessons we should live today and keep the love and unity going. The task is now for the younger generation to build on the efforts of the past and let the legacy of our founding fathers and mothers live on. Thank you for being here today and supporting the official launch of the Roshnee 55 book. This is a momentous occasion for our special town. Eat, be merry, catch up with old family and friends, and celebrate the beautiful town of Roshnee. Jazakallah. Thank you very much and good evening. Just a reminder that if you are purchasing the book, if you just go through the doors on the left-hand side, you can walk around to the back of the stage. That is where the book is being sold, and you can walk straight through and you can get your book autographed by the author, Mr. Yunus Chamda. And I got a special message from my dad. There's a VOB reunion tomorrow at 8 o'clock, so all the soccer stars must please make themselves available. It's an interactive program, so please make yourselves available. It will be done here at the hall.